Before I get into the actual video, I want to read a couple different YouTube channels that have done really nice mountain bike budget style builds on this, okay? So we have Kev Central, Wolftick Videos, Evans MTB Saga, MTB Alex, Florida Bikes and Gear, MTB Keo, and then also the Back Pasture. The Back Pasture actually just posted his last video yesterday or the day before when I'm actually making this video. So those are some very good channels if you're wanting to do a typical mountain bike build. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do something entirely different. So here we are. Carbon rigid fork, single speed. This is my murder machine. This is going to be my, I want to set PRs basically and go fast bike. I'm so excited over this and I am so stoked with how this build turned out. And the really cool thing about this build, minus the tires, you can do it for right at $200, which is about the price of a very nice air fork if you were wanting to go that route. One of the best parts about mountain bikes, in my opinion, they're kind of like Honda Civics in the sense you can do whatever you want to do with them and have fun with them. And typically if you're modifying them, no two will be the same. I wanted my Schwinn Axum to be entirely different. I wanted it to be something that I don't have, and I wanted it to be something that I would enjoy because of what it is. And a single speed, carbon style rigid fork bike is what I wanted to do with it. And I really am so impressed with how this bike rides. I sadly don't have any riding footage. A good friend of mine has my GoPro right now. He's out basically on a 2-week walk in the middle of nowhere, and he asked to take my GoPro to record that. So I'll have to get trail footage with this at a different date. But let's go over all the things I actually did to it. So up front, as you can tell, this is a China carbon fork. Some people will agree with this, some people won't agree with it, but I wanted to try one. I had never had one or purchased one before, but the fork was $130. Links to all this stuff will be in the description. But it took about a week and a half, 2 weeks to get from the Amazon seller. I put in a basic, just your Jessica headset, 55 top, 56 bottom, $20 headset, leaps and bounds better than the headset that comes stock. So that is just something, in my opinion, you should do if you're going to be changing your front fork. If you're already up there working on it, there's no reason not to. As you can see, I'm going with a white color scheme for my contrasting color basically for this bike, and the white absolutely pops so nicely. So I have the white stem, I have the handlebar grips with white, I have left the actual brakes the same from stock, so we're good there. Let's go down to the drivetrain now. And the actual drivetrain, I decided to put on a single speed white chain. It looks terrific on this bike in my opinion. It was like a $10 chain I believe I got off Amazon. And then I went with just a single speed conversion kit. And the nice thing about this single speed conversion kit is it fits perfect with the stock wheel. So you literally take off the old cog set, put that thing on, get your chain alignment good, and put it back together. And then since this bike came with an actual derailleur, just get a chain tensioner, get the chain pretty well as tight as you can without the chain tensioner, put the chain tensioner on, and it'll finish the slack out for you. And really, those are the main things that you need for this build. If you're going to do this build, as I mentioned just a second ago, it's about a $200 conversion. You have $130 for the fork. And the cool thing about the fork is, if you do not want to, give me a second, if you're not comfortable buying the $130 carbon fork, if you want to do this change, I bought this fork too to show people, which is crazy. I spent $130 on a fork that I'm probably not going to use, unless I decide the carbon fork's not good. This is a Shirley, let me get it right. But this is just a 1-1/8 steerer tube. But the cool thing about the Jessica headset is it has the adapter for this to work. So, but it is a Shirley Krampus fork, but this is just a nice rigid fork. So, I'm sure you can hear that, and it's pretty well the exact same size as this carbon fork. So if I decide that the carbon fork's making some really wonky noises and I don't think it's safe, this bad boy's going on. And it's only about a pound heavier, I think, so it's not too bad. But I am interested to see what the weight of this is now. So I'll definitely do a weight check at the end of it. The original weight was, I think, 38 pounds. right at 38 something. I'll put it here because I know I weighed it. But options are always good. And that's what this build is. This build is just another option for somebody, and it's a budget-friendly option. So I mean, how can you beat that? It's such a great idea to transform this bike entirely. This isn't something I recommend someone to do who is new to mountain biking, but if you're looking for a new experience or just a different way to enjoy your Schwinn Axum, this is it. I mean, tapered carbon fork with the actual 100mm quick release up front. This fork is perfect. And the cool thing about this fork is the crown to axle is the appropriate length for a 100mm fork. So geometry wise, it doesn't affect the geometry at all. It's pretty well the stock geometry. And since I'm running this rigid, I really don't want the head angle to be much more than what the stock one is. Now, if I was going to go hardcore hardtail, I would have wanted the head angle to be closer to the 65-degree mark. And it would have been great because as you increase the distance or the stanchion length, you decrease the number of the head angle technically. So, but I did also change the tires to Terravale Honchos. They are 29 by 2.6 front and back. I read online that these are terrific all-around tires. So I got those. They're a little expensive. They were about 75 for a single. So it was about 150 for the pair. So that is a little pricey. They did weigh about half a pound less than the stock tires, so about a pound savings there. And they are also tubeless ready, so I'll probably switch this to tubeless eventually. I don't know when I will, but I will at some point in time. But let's weigh it. Let's see where it's at weight-wise, and I'm interested to see if we got it below 30 pounds, because I mean, we switched to a carbon fork, we switched the tires, which saved weight, and we took off the entire drivetrain. So let's weigh it and see where we're sitting. So I'm really excited to see the weight of this bike now. I've changed up my weight station a little bit so I don't have to keep clamping it in the actual stand. That's crazy. 28.53 pounds. And we're down to 12.94 kilograms. 28.53. Holy cow. We pretty well shed 10 pounds by switching it to this. That's gonna be perfect for what I'm wanting to do with this bike, because I'm really just wanting it to go fast. I wanna go fast, I wanna feel absolutely everything, and no matter what, I'll always be in the wrong gear. So that's exciting. Any questions over this, put them in the comments. Did you see this coming? What did you think I was gonna do to this bike? I feel like this is definitely different for this Axum DP. Would you have done this? Is this something you'll consider now that you know it's only $200? But it's just another option for the Schwinn Axum DP. And I think it's gonna be a fun one. But thank you so very much for tuning in, and until next time, everybody take care.